Hello everyone, welcome to Euron, and in this lecture guys we are going to talk about a project which is based out of MCP, Model Context Protocol. So a project where you will be able to automate the entire assignment grading. So where anyone is going to submit the assignment, and based on the instruction that you are going to give to your LLM or your tools, it is going to grade the assignment, it is going to give you the feedback, it is going to give you the result. Now let me share my screen and let me show you something before moving into the project. So this project is a part of this Model Context Protocol Masters, and this is the project detail which I have mentioned over here, where so AI powered student assignment grading system we are going to create, and there are a lot of components that we are going to learn inside this entire project till a deployment. So here let me give you a glimpse of a UI guys, that how UI will look like. So this is how this UI will look like. So where you are going to basically upload your assignment, upload your PDF or document file, and then you can even automate this entire process. You can connect this entire process with some of the file system that you have. That is completely fine. So that is basically an enhancement that you can do, and I don't think that it's going to be that difficult. It's very easy. So upload the assignment, and then once assignment you are going to upload, it is going to grade the assignment based on the criteria that you are going to mention. So we are going to follow a rubric. Rubric is nothing but a kind of a guidelines that you try to provide, that okay fine, so do this, do that, evaluate in this way, evaluate in that way basically. And we are going to even check a plagiarism into the assignment, and then eventually we are going to see the result based on the assignment that we are going to submit. Now like I said, so there are a lot of component which comes in between. Now let's talk about a component in a detailed way. So as you can see this architecture, and it looks scary a little bit in a beginning, that there are like too many component which is a part of this entire things. But let me explain you this entire architecture in a flow. So first of all, what is going to happen is that student is going to upload the assignment, and then system is going to grade the assignment, system is going to give you the result. That's it, right? So no like a lot of hand holding, or no lot of intervention from a human side. System is going to take care of each and everything, and obviously when system is taking care of each and everything in that way, tech is going to be a little bit complex, and this is what you will be able to see in case of this entire architecture. Now if I have to explain this architecture, so let's try to get some sort of understanding over here. So let's suppose I'm a user and I'm going to upload my assignment. So maybe I'm going to upload a file, I'm going to upload a rubric means an instruction, and then a kind of an answer which I'm looking for. Now what it will do, so it will go inside a UI. So I can try to create a UI by using a Streamlit UI, or maybe by using a Gradio UI. So I'm using a Streamlit in this particular project. There is another option, Gradio. There is a option where you can try to use a Mon Mean Jamstack, and then you can create a UI. So that's completely fine. Things are not going to change. Core things is going to be exactly same. So here we are going to create a UI, and once our UI will be available, so inside the UI with the help of FastAPI, right? So we are going to use a FastAPI a lot inside this one. So we are going to upload a file. So parse uploaded file. So here we can try to upload a file into a PDF format, maybe into a doc file format, or maybe we can try to use a Tika over here. So which is going to help me out in terms of reading a text. So here we are going to upload a files. Now once file upload is going to be done, then what is going to happen? Maybe we can even try to store a file. We can even try to map a file. That's completely fine. But yeah, so I'll not be doing all of these things at a time in architecture I have mentioned, but I will not be doing it. Maybe in an enhancement of this project, I will be doing each and everything, because these are the small static component which I have to just automate. That's it. Now, so once a file will be uploaded, what will happen over here? So it is going to check a plagiarism basically. So we are going to use MCP tool to check a plagiarism over here, and we are going to use a API for that one. And then it is going to do what? So it is going to basically give a grading and a feedback. So it is going to give a grading and a feedback, again based on what? Based on the tool calling, and internally tool is going to use APIs. So maybe a Gemini API, maybe OpenAPI or OpenAI API, or you can try to use any other thing. That's completely fine. It is not going to change anything. Okay. Now, so obviously when we are going to upload a file, and when system is going to check the plagiarisms, when system is going to do the grading, when system will be able to give a feedback. So where our entire MCP tool and our LLMs will come into a picture, then we have to convert this entire project as a Docker file. And then with the help of Docker, once my Docker will be ready, so what we can do is we can try to deploy this entire file, Docker file, into Render. So Render is one of the platforms, so where you can try to deploy your web services or any kind of app that you are going to create, and maybe into EC2 instances, I will be able to deploy it. So I have multiple options. So I'll try to show you this one with respect to a render over here. And then obviously, so once it will be deployed over here, so maybe you can try to like add couple of more things on top of this one, like a Cloudflare, or maybe you can try to add a proxies over here, which can be done with the help of NGINX. But yeah, so once it will be deployed, so the entire application will be public, and I will be able to use this entire application, or anyone else in this entire world will be able to use it. So here you must be able to see authentication layers. Authentication wise, we can try to give a user authentication. So maybe we can try to add a Google authentication. We can try to add a LinkedIn authentication, a GitHub authentication, or maybe we can just give an option to a user to enter their username and password, and the user will be able to access it. So a lot of things which can be done even over here. So now I believe this entire architecture looks simple to all of you, that we are trying to create the UI, we are going to authenticate the user, we are going to upload a document or like a PDF file or maybe a doc file over there, and at the end of the day it is going to do the tool calling, and at the end of the day, so after doing a tool calling, so it will be able to evaluate the entire assignment, it will be able to give you a feedback, it will be able to give you the grading. So that's a whole idea, that's a core concept behind this project. Now, so from now onwards, what we can do is we can start building this project. So we can start talking about the environment setup, and then one by one, so each and every component which is available over here, so we can start attaching all of this component. So fine guys, let's start building a project now. Now, a very first step to build this entire project. So we have to set up the environment, and we are going to use a VS Code for that, guys. And obviously we have to acquire APIs and all other thing. So here what I will do is I'll just go inside my VS Code, and step by step I'm going to follow the process. So you can try to follow the same process. At the end of the day, entire code base you will be able to find out inside a resource section in your dashboard. Everything that I'm using over here, whether it's an architecture or whether it's a complete code base or whether it's a documentation, README file, everything you will be able to find out inside your resource section itself. So here, go to open folder, and maybe I can try to create one folder over here. So MCP projects. Okay. Now inside that, so assignment underscore GRADER, assignment grader. Okay, I think I have made a spelling mistake, but that's completely fine. I think we can live with that. Okay, so assignment grader is a folder that I have created. Now here, so you have to create a couple of things, and apart from that, so you have to set a complete separate environment. Unless and until you are not going to set a separate environment, so I believe you might get an issue if you are trying to do the installation of each and everything in your like a base environment. So here, what we can do is, so maybe we can try to create a couple of files in this particular place. So what kind of a file we are going to prepare? So here we can try to prepare a server file, server.python file we can try to create. We can try to create maybe a client.py file over here, and then we can try to create requirements.txt file over here. So these are the three main files we can try to create. Apart from that, you can try to create a readme file .md. Yeah, so you can try to create a readme file over here. Now, so readme, let me change this. Okay, so a readme file you can try to create over here. So client file, server file, requirements.txt file, and server.py file you can try to create. Now, once you are going to create all of these files, because we will be writing a code inside all of these files, and again, number of files are going to increase as we are going to progress inside this entire project. So here, what we can do is, so maybe we can try to create a new environment for me. So what I can do is, I can go over here, I can try to write like a conda create -n. I can try to give a name of the environment. So assignment assignment grader. We can try to give a like a name of the entire environment, and then we can try to write a Python version that I would like to install. So Python is equals to 3.10, and we can say take yes. Okay, so it is going to create an environment for me, and I'm going to use this particular environment, guys. And again, it's a strong recommendation that you are supposed to use the same recommendation, same kind of an environment. So here, Conda activate assignment grader. So let me activate this assignment grader. So yeah, this assignment grader environment is activated. Now what we have to do, so we have to prepare our requirement.txt file, so that I will be able to use this requirement.txt file to do a bulk installation. So inside a requirement.txt file, guys, what we are supposed to keep, so we are supposed to keep these files over here inside my requirement.txt file, as you can see. Yeah, so all of these things, so OpenAI, you have to keep PyMu-PDF, you have to keep Python docs, fuzzy wuzzy, and then Python 11z, and then request Streamlit and Python.environment. All of these things you are supposed to keep it inside your requirement.txt. Now I have to install each and everything inside my current environment. So what I can do, I can just try to call pip install -r, and then requirements.txt I can try to call, so that in a bulk it will be able to install each and everything. So whatever is required, it will be able to install everything and everything inside my particular Python environment. So it is going to take some time. Okay, so now, so Python, everything is done, installation is done. Maybe I can try to do a pip list. I can try to check that whatever I was trying to install, for example, OpenAI, so it's installed or not. And yes, I will be able to find out those installations somewhere over here. Yeah, so all this installation is done, and whatever version that we have given, so based on that version, it has done the installation. So you can go and cross check by using a pip list, and it is going to give you all the installation inside a particular environment. Now, once this installation is done, a requirement of this requirements.txt is done. We can try to close it, as simple as that. Now we can start working on a next step. So first, what we can do is we can try to build a UI. That will be better. So we can try to build a Streamlit UI. I believe I have already shown you the UI part. So this is how my UI will look like. So here we have to build it in a Streamlit, and it's not very difficult to build this kind of a UI interface. It's a very, very basic one. So here we have to basically give a API configuration, so that anyone will be able to pass an API inside my program. And then maybe just about, it's a static section. We can try to give an option for browsing a file, uploading a file. Now file will go somewhere, and then a grade, and then a result. So all of these UI interface in a step-by-step manner, we can try to build, and we can try to even test it. So let's see, and let's try to build it. Let's try to test this entire UI interface. Okay, so now in this section, guys, so what we can do is we can try to create a UI, and to create a UI, basically, I'm not going to type a code over here. I'm going to copy and paste, so which I have already prepared for all of you in a step-by-step manner. So what we have to do is, first of all, we have to do an import of a library for a Client.py. So here I will be writing all the UI code for a Streamlit. So here we can try to maybe import, remove this one. I don't want to ask Copilot. So fine, I have my own piece of code. So I have just done the import of this entire library. Now in a step-by-step manner, let's start building it, right? Let's start building it. So first of all, what we can do is we can try to set a Streamlit page configuration. So we can try to say a page title is equal to assignment grader, and I'm going to give an icon. I'm going to give a layout over here. Now what it will do, so let's execute and let's try to test it, that what it is going to do. Now to run this entire things, what you have to do is you have to write Streamlit, Streamlit, run, and then your file name, basically. So once you are going to run it, you will be able to see on your local host 8501, you will be able to see this kind of a things. So as you can see that it has given me a logo over here, right? If you're going to hover your mouse, and then it has given a assignment grader as a name, and this is what we have done, right? This is what we have done. So basically page title is equal to assignment grader, layout is equal to wide, and page icon. So objective of this one is done. Now in this way, step by step, we will try to go. So the next one is basically to keep a main title. Okay, so keep a main title. Now I can go and I can try to test it. Let me like keep my things open. Okay, so I'm going to refresh it, and here you will be able to see that assignment grader upload assignment and grade them automatically with AI. Okay, fine, that's great. So we are able to do it. We are able to give a title, we are able to give a markdown. Now once we are able to give a title and a markdown, what we can do is, so we can even try to build a side section or sidebar, I would say. So here let's try to build a sidebar, Control S, and here sidebar. So I'm just trying to give header of the sidebar is equal to about, and I'm just trying to write something over here. You can try to change the write up. Again, I will go and I will try to refresh it. So as you can see, now we have basically about section, and basically inside a sidebar, we can try to add some of the component over here if I want, and then we have a assignment grader in this particular place. Okay, this is done, right? Easy peasy, nothing like a much, and building a UI is not at all that difficult. You can like keep on adding a component and you will be able to eventually build the entire UI. Now, once we are able to do that, let's try to add different tabs over here. So we have to create basically a upload tab, we have to create basically a feedback tab, and we have to create basically a third tab, which is where we are going to see the result. Okay, fine. So let's go and let's try to create basically a tab over here, and I'm leaving a comment everywhere so that you will be able to refer it at any point of a time. So Control S, now go and check after a refresh. So here I'm able to create a tab, upload assignment, grade assignment, and a result. So all of this tab I'm able to create again in a easiest possible way just by writing this code. So streamlit.tab and then tab name I'm going to give as a list. Tab 1, tab 2, tab 3 it is going to create, and I'm going to take a reference of that. For tab 1, so I'm going to like do something. For tab 2, I'm going to do something like that. So yeah, I'm going to perform in a step-by-step manner. Okay, so for tab 1, what we can do is we can try to create like a upload assignment section, right? So if we have a tab 1 over here, so we want to upload something over here, we want to upload a document over here, so we can try to give that inside a UI. Now how we can do that? So with reference to a tab 1, so let's try to write a file upload. So here we have written that with tab 1, so tab 1, which is nothing but upload assignment. So upload assignment, this is the title I'm going to give, and then so file uploader I'm going to call from a Streamlit, and we will be able to upload as of now a PDF file and a doc file. Now Control S, again if I'll go and check after like a refresh, so here you will be able to see that we have upload assignment, and then I can try to choose a file over here. I can try to browse a file, as you can see, and then I can try to upload it over here, right? So as you can see, I'm able to upload my own file from my local system, as simple as that. So uploading of the file is done, right? I'm able to upload a file now. So whenever I'm able to get a file, so maybe I can try to save those files somewhere temporarily, or maybe I can try to even save a file into a databases, into a file system, anywhere I want. I will be able to save those files. Depends upon the nature of the file which we are going to upload. So we can try to write a subsequent Python function over here, so where we can try to perform a different kind of operations, right? So here maybe we can try to write the complete logic. So what should happen after a file upload? So this is the logic that we have mentioned. So this is the selected section is basically a logic that we have mentioned over here, that once we are able to upload the file, right? So if file upload is not none, means we are able to get some sort of a file. So save the uploaded file temporarily somewhere. Let me close this one, and yeah. So basically save the uploaded file temporarily. So here we are going to like write a file into a particular file path. So whatever session or like whatever session we are into, so we are going to write a file temporarily over here in a particular file path. If I would like to write this file inside some of the file system, so instead of like calling this file path, what I can do is I can simply call maybe a S3 bucket, and then inside a S3 bucket where I'm going to store this entire file, and which we are going to do it. we are going to like see even those kind of things in my upcoming project. So where I'm going to store the file, because after this, once I'm able to get the file, so after this things are not like a very big over here. Okay, now so file, I'm going to save it now. So once my file will be saved, now let me show you the UI part before moving into the next section. So here, let's suppose if I'm going to upload a file, right? So it is going to give you a button called as process a document. Now, what is the meaning of this process a document? So obviously I'm trying to like upload the file. I'm able to save it temporarily. Now I have to do something with that particular file. Basically, I have to read that particular file. I have to evaluate those files. I have to check the plagiarism over here and all sort of operations, right? All sort of operations that we are supposed to like perform for grading that particular file. We have to call it on top of that particular file. So here, right? So here what we are doing is, so we are trying to call streamlit.spinner, and then we are going to call this particular MCP tool. As of now, we have not created this call MCP tool, so we are going to create it very soon. So where we are going to pass this entire document that we are loading inside my call MCP tool function. So in the same file, in a client side file itself, so we are going to write call MCP tool, and then it is going to give me a result. So if result is equals to null, it will simply say that failed to open the document, check the save connection. So maybe if you have uploaded a different kind of a document which is like which system is not able to parse, so in that case it is going to give you this error. Otherwise it is going to give you this result, and it is going to tell you that document processed successfully and document contain these and the number of the word. So these are the number of the word, and then so it is going to show you the preview of those words. So if you would like to get the preview after processing the document, you will be able to see the button. So over there, it is going to show you what was the content which was available inside the particular file. As simple as that. Okay, fine. So this is going to be happen in tab number 1. Now, what is going to happen in tab number 2? Let's try to understand that part. So again, in tab number 2, what we are supposed to do, by the way. So what we have written inside tab number 2, so grade the assignment. Yeah, grade the assignment based on the rubric that I'm going to pass over there. So here, let's try to copy code for tab number 2, that what in tab number 2 we are going to perform. So tab number 2, let me save it and let me show you after a refresh how it looks like. So basically in tab number 2, so we are writing this static word grading configuration, and then we are trying to say that grading rubric means these are the content we are trying to give. So whenever you are trying to evaluate it, so based on this particular rubric that I have given to you, please try to evaluate it. So content 40%, the assignment should demonstrate through the understanding of the topic. Structure, the assignment should be well organized with the clean introduction, body and conclusion. Analysis, the assignment should include a critical analysis backed by the evidence, and grammar and styling 10%. So these are going to be 100%. So based on this condition, it is going to evaluate. Now check for the plagiarism, we have given a button. So where it is going to call the API, and then it is going to check it. Now here, so as you can see, we have written streamlit.header for tab number 2, a grading configuration. So same thing, right? Grading configuration, then subheader grading rubric, subheader grading rubric, that's fine. And then here, so we are trying to create a text area, and we are writing this entire content in a static way. So we are writing this entire content into a static way, as simple as that. And then we are trying to create one checkbox, and where, so we are going to give a check plagiarism option. So we have given this like a button, a plagiarism button basically. So as you can see, check for the plagiarism button we have given. So this is the name that we have mentioned over here. Okay. So now till this part, tab number 2 is pretty much static. We are not doing anything much. So we are just trying to create a field, and statically we are trying to like give each and every information. Now, so here, so when you are going to read the document, right? So document text in Streamlit session state. So document text that we have basically, and Streamlit button grade assignment. So if this will be called, if this is going to be true, right? If this is going to be true, so what it will do is, so it will try to fetch first of all a rubric, right? The rubric that we are going to like or instruction that we have given over here. So it is going to fetch the instruction first of all, and then it is going to start grading it, right? It will start grading it. So here, first of all, it will try to check whether we have a plagiarism or not. Now, even to check the plagiarism, it is trying to call a MCP tool, because that's a backbone, right? That's a main idea, that for anything, call the MCP tool. So even over here, so we are trying to call the MCP tool to parse the file. So whatever file that we are going to pass, if we have to check what is the content available inside it, so we are using basically MCP tool. And even over here, so we are trying to use a MCP tool. So which is going to, MCP tool is nothing but another function that I'm going to show you. So it is going to call that particular one. Okay, that's completely fine. Now, after that, what it will do, again, it will try to call MCP tool, and this time for what? So this time for basically generating a grade. Again, what it will do, so it will again try to call the MCP tool, and it will try to generate a feedback. So we are, if you are going to check all of these things, so we are going to create a multiple tool, means multiple function over here, which is going to help me out in terms of checking a plagiarism. First of all, in terms of processing the file, checking a plagiarism over here, grading a text over here, generating a feedback at the end of the day. And then we are closing the entire session based on if and else. So we are going to write a warning. So this is what is going to happen in tab number 2. Now coming to a tab number 3, guys. So what my tab number 3 is going to perform. So let me copy and paste this option for all of you. So tab number 3. Now, as you can see, we have to showcase the result over here, and there is nothing as of now, right? We have to showcase a result in this particular place. So what this tab number 3 will do, so it is going to show you the grading result. Let me save it and then go back and refresh it. So yeah, grading result, and no grading result available. Please upload and grade an assignment first. Okay, so this is what it is trying to tell me as of now. So here, right? So here, if all session state, file name, grade result, and feedback is available, right? So there is, if it is available into a session, so in that case, basically try to give a result and start displaying a grade, right? Whatever grade that we are able to get from the session. So it will start showing you the grade, it will start showing you the feedback, and it will start showing you the complete plagiarism result at the end of the day. So here we are just trying to show you a final result. We are not trying to show you anything more than that in a tab number 3. That's it. So whatever we are able to get, we are just trying to show you. So again, this UI is completely done. Now what we can do is we have to create a sidebar. We have to create basically a sidebar from where we can try to pass our OpenAPI key, our Gemini key, or maybe any other things we will be able to pass. Now to do that, so we can try to create a fields with the help of this code. So here, sidebar expander, right? API configuration is the title that we are going to give. Let me save it and then let me show you the UI after refresh. So here, API configuration, as you can see. So OpenAPI key, we can try to provide a Google API key, we can try to provide, or Google search engine ID, we can try to provide, and then we can try to call on save API setting, as simple as that, so that it will be able to save it. Now here, so what we can do is we can try to create the input boxes. So text input boxes for OpenAPI key, OpenAI API key, Google key, and then like a Google search engine ID. So we are trying to create just a input text over here. We are trying to keep this type is equal to password, so that whenever you are going to copy and paste that API key, it will not be visible to anyone, right? It will not be visible to anyone. Now save button we are trying to give, so save API settings. So now this is going to build my whole UI interface with the help of Streamlit. You can try to add if you want anything, right? You can try to add whatever you want, that's completely fine. But yeah, so now we are able to create a complete UI. And like I said, so code looks lengthy. It's a 194 line of a code that we have seen so far, but it's not difficult. Again, it's not difficult at all. And with this code, obviously you can try to do any kind of a modification if you want. So now this is done, guys, right? This is done. Now what we have to do is UI creation is basically done. Now what we can do is we can try to go after a function call, or we can try to go after a tool calling, right? We can try to go after basically a tool calling over here. And so that, because tool calling is something which is going to do a real stuff, right? No one else is going to do a real stuff. So what we will do is we'll try to do a tool calling one by one, one by one, one by one, and then we can try to start integrating it. So fine. I hope till this point we all are able to understand each and everything. So see you again in the next lecture with tool calling. Okay, everyone. So before moving into our server side, so where we are going to create a MCP tool, what we have to do is, so we have to create a API. So we need three different kind of API. So one API is basically OpenAI API we need, and the second API that we are going to need is a Google API, and third is a Google Search Engine ID. A CX is going to be required. So how we can try to create it and how we can try to test it? Let's try to explore that part one by one. So first of all, what you can do is you can try to log in into your OpenAI account, and then inside your OpenAI account, you can go to profile, your profile, and then here, so you will be able to find out API key options. So click over here, and then you can try to create your API. I'm going to use my API, which I will end up deleting it after this particular class. So maybe you can change it with your own API key, and it is going to work. So here I can just click on create a new secret key, and then I can try to give like a secret key, just a name over here. So assignment grade, and then select a project which is a default project, and then create a secret key. So as simple as that, it is going to create my secret key, and then I'm going to use this secret key, and I'm going to test this particular secret key. So I'm even going to attach a test key, basically, so that you all will be able to test your API key. So this is a very simple plain code which is going to help you out to test your key. So what you have to do is you just have to replace this particular key with your own key that you have generated just now from a OpenAI, my bad. Yeah. So the key that you have created from here, so you just have to copy and paste that particular key, and then you will be able to test it. Okay. So here I'm going to like keep this entire things, and then I'm going to write a test OpenAI, and I'm just going to call client.chat completion.create, and the model name is equal to GPT 3.5 turbo I'm going to give, or maybe a GPT-4, that's completely fine. And then message wise, so I'm going to define a system message, and then I'm going to define a user message. System message wise, you are a helpful assistant, and then user message wise, say hello to the world. And then I'm going to test this entire response, and if my response is going to be good, then it's fine. If my response is not going to be good, in that case, I will try to maybe change the API key. That's it. So here, let's go and let's try to test it over here. So what I can do is I can test it in this particular place. So I can simply write a code, that simply write a command over here, that Python testing API key. And let's see, so what kind of a response it is going to give. So yeah, it is telling me OpenAI response wise that hello world, how I can assist you today. It simply means that the API key that I have created just now, it's well and good, and it's working for me. Now, if this key is working for you, you can go ahead with this particular key, save it somewhere for now, and then use it when I'm going to show you the server API, or server, basically server Python code. Okay. So this is the first part. The second part is we have to create a Google API and a Google CX ID, search engine ID I have to create, so that I will be able to do a plagiarism check. So to do that, you have to go into your Google account. So first of all, if you don't have a Google account, so please go to Google Cloud Console and try to create a Google account. A Google Cloud account is required. Now, once you will be having a Google Cloud account, what you can do is you can try to click over here, and then you can try to click on create a new project, or maybe you can try to use the existing project. That's completely fine, so that you all will be able to generate your own API key. So I'm going to create a new project over here, and I'm going to give a name. So assignment grader test. Okay, fine. So here I can just try to click on create, and it is going to create a particular project for me, which is a assignment grader. Okay. So this has created a project for me. So I'm going to select this project, and the same project will be visible over here. As you can see, same project is visible over here. Now what I can do is I can try to create an API. So I can try to click on API services from this particular project, the project which I have created, the project which I have selected. Now I can try to click on API key creation, and let's see, right? So here, so once I'm here in this particular console, what I'm supposed to do is, so I'm supposed to basically search for a custom search API. So here I can try to search custom search API. Okay. And let's see. So custom search API, let me, okay, I have written customer. So I'm supposed to write CUSTUME. CUSTUM, custom search API. So it is going to give you like this all of these options. So you have to select a very first option, custom search API option, click over here. And now once you are going to click on custom search option, so the very first part that you have to do is you have to enable this custom search API for this particular project that you are going to create. Or even you can try to click on this one, try this API. And this is the simplest way to create an API for yourself. So here it is going to give you this option, get a key option directly, and it is going to help you out to generate a key. So you are going to wait for some time, and assignment grade test, and next I'm going to select, and it is going to give me the API. Again, this API I'm going to save it somewhere, show key. So I'm going to save it somewhere so that I will be able to use this particular one. So this way I will be able to create a Google search API. Now, the third part that you have to do is, so you have to basically create a custom search engine, CSE basically. So how you will be able to create a custom search engine? So you have to go to a URL called as programmablesearchengine.google.com. Now, so once you are going to hit this particular URL, and all of these URL will be attached inside your resources. So you're not supposed to worry about anything. So everything will be given to all of you. Now, once you are here, so what you can do is you can try to click on add. So you can try to add a new search engine, maybe assignment grader, something like that. I'm going to give a name. You can try to click on search the entire web, and then I'm not a robot, and click on create. So once you are going to click on create, it is going to create a search engine. Now go back to all the engines, and then just try to select the engine that you have created just now. So here it is going to show you the search engine ID. Now this particular ID is required. This particular search engine ID is required. So now I have to test this particular API, a Google search API that I have created. So Google search API that I have created over here, and then programmable search engine ID that I have created over here. So CSE that I have created over here. So how I will be able to test it? So even for that, I'm going to attach a code over here so that you will be able to test it. So what you have to do, you just have to replace your search API, and you have to replace your CX key, a custom search engine key over here, and it will be able, and you will be able to authenticate, by the way. So here I'm going to select this search engine ID. So I'm going to select the search engine ID, and then I'm going to use this API key from a Google search engine, replace it, and then maybe I can try to run this particular program. So clear it. Okay. And now I'm going to test it. So Python google.py, and then if it is not going to give you a bad response, so it is going to give you some of the responses or some of the search data in this particular way. If it is working in this particular way, it simply means that your Google search API key and your CSE is working completely fine. Now you can try to keep this key and this CX for a future purposes, because we are going to utilize this particular key in our server.py file. Okay, everyone. So in our last section, we were able to create our OpenAI API key, Google API key, and Google search engine ID that we are going to use it in this particular segment. Now it's time to look into a server.py file and the tool, the MCP tool that we have created. So we are supposed to look into that particular part. This code looks a bit of overwhelming, but believe me, it's not that big, or it's not that overwhelming. But yeah, so this code has been written in a complete modular fashion, in a clean code. So that's the reason. So lots of exception handling we have implemented over here, and because of that, this code looks like a little bit overwhelming. So here, first of all, we have to import all the required libraries, whether it's a fast API, whether it's a UVCon, OpenAI, OS module, sys module, or Pydantic. All of these modules we have to import. And then we are just trying to do a logging basically over here, so that I'm going to track each and everything. And if there will be some error, so I will be able to cache those errors, or I will be able to debug it in the easiest possible way. Then what we are trying to do is, so whatever API that you are going to provide, so whatever API that your client is going to provide, basically, maybe through a UI or maybe through a hard-coded way. So this is going to get all of these API keys. So OpenAI API key, Google API key, and search engine ID it is going to take. And I'm just trying to log in all of these things in this particular place. That's it. So this is all about a class setting. So where I will be able to acquire all the API key from a client side. Now, so here I'm just trying to perform the LRU catching operations, nothing much over here, so that I will be able to, optimize my entire process or optimize my entire execution. So wherever I will be having some sort of redundant things, it will be able to handle with the help of this LRU catching. Now, so here I'm just trying to create a different class, a skeleton or modal over here. So here for a base request, we are trying to create class called as base request, then a parse file request, then plagiarism request, then grade request, then error response, then grade response, plagiarism result, and plagiarism response, which I will be using one by one in a respective segment. Okay, so now first of all, let's try to understand that how my system or how my server is going to take a file. It is going to take a PDF file or doc file, how it is going to parse those files, the second step, and then how it will be able to check a plagiarism. So this is something that we are going to discuss in a very first place. So let's start talking about it. So first of all, I'm going to write a get API key function. So which is going to return what? Which is going to return a dictionary. Dictionary of what? So dictionary of key value pair and key wise. So OpenAI key, Google API key, and search engine ID. These are going to be the key, and value, the value that we are acquiring, or like the API key that you have already created in a previous section. So this function is going to return three things, and wherever I need an API key, so I'm going to call this particular function in a simplest possible way. Okay, so this function is done. Now coming to the next function basically. So the next function basically talks about parsing a PDF file here. And again, so these are the only three lines of a code which is going to help me out in terms of parsing entire data. So in this particular function, I'm going to pass a file path. With the help of this fetch library, I'm going to open up this particular path. So wherever my client is going to provide a data, so I'm going to use my client as a Streamlit application, and then it is going to read the entire document and return it. As simple as that. Here, I'm just trying to do a error handling, nothing much. So this is going to help you out with respect to parsing a PDF. Now coming to the next part. So we can try to parse even a document. So this function is going to help me out, or these three lines of a code is going to help me out in terms of parsing a document. So again, same thing I'm trying to do. I'll try to pass a file path over here, and then I'm trying to use this library, a simple library called as DOCX, and it will be able to parse the entire document and it is going to return rest. I'm just trying to handle the errors. That's it. So document parsing wise, PDF I will be able to read, that's completely fine. Document I will be able to read, again that's completely fine. API key I'm able to read, that's completely fine. So API key reading is done, PDF reading is done, document reading is done. So these three functions is sorted, I believe, and hope all of you are able to understand that particular part. So I'm able to read those data so far, right? I'm able to access those data so far. Now, what is next, by the way? So next is basically I have to parse those files. So whatever information which is available inside a file, so I just have to parse those file. Now, so I have to use these function. I have just created this independent function, right? I have not used it so far. Yeah. So this is just an independent function. So now it's time to call a function, so that whenever a function will be called, data file path will be passed, and then it is going to parse it. And that's the reason. So this this function exists. And here, so I'm just trying to expose this function with this URL, with this API, so that my client can call this URL. Yeah. So my Streamlit app can call this URL basically, and then it will be able to parse. Now, the major part you will be able to find out just over here. It is trying to check that if extension. So I'm trying to check the extension first of all. So if extension of my file is .pdf, call parse PDF function. If extension of my file is basically .docx, in that case, call parse doc function, which I have already written over here and which we have already understood, right? So which we have already discussed over here. So this is going to parse the file on this URL. So this will be called by my client, and this function is calling these two functions, PDF and a document function, based on the extension. Rest is just a handling. So I'm just trying to handle that if path doesn't exist, then what you are supposed to do, or if file format doesn't support, then what you are supposed to do. So I'm just trying to handle the errors over here, nothing much, but the main code is only this much. Okay. Now, so once I'm able to parse the file, it is going to return me what? It is going to return me the entire data which is available inside the document. This is what this parse PDF and this parse doc is trying to do. So if you will go and check once again, right? So what this parse PDF is trying to return? A simple entire content of a particular document, right? Entire content it is going to return. So page.get text for a page in a doc. So page by page, it will try to move and then it will try to get a text and will keep on joining it. So it is going to give you the complete list at the end of the day. As simple as that. Okay. Now, so once I will be able to parse my entire file, now what should be my next step? Now it's time to process those data. Now it's time to check a plagiarism into a data with the help of Google API. Now it's time to generate a feedback. Now it's time to give a grade. That's a whole idea. That's a whole objective. So here, let me show you a little bit of demo over here. So demo wise, what I can do is maybe I can try to upload one of the file that I have. And then I can try to click on process document. Now, when I'm going to click process document, so what it is going to do? So it is going to call a function which we have discussed just now. It is going to check how many number of the words are there, and then it is going to give you the entire preview of the document. So whatever data that I had inside this entire document, so basically it is going to read out all the document. This is what a parsing was trying to perform. Hope all of you are able to understand that what this parsing is trying to do. Once my parsing is done, once I'm able to read the data, then what I'm supposed to do, the next step is to check a plagiarism. Yeah, plagiarism into my data set. So here I'm writing a plagiarism like a function, and I'm just trying to expose it with this URL so that anyone will be able to access it with the help of this particular URL, a plagiarism. And here, so I'm going to use a key. Which key? So I'm going to use basically a Google API key, and I'm going to use basically a Google search engine ID over here. So here I'm just trying to call get API key. So get API key, as we all know, it's going to return three things: OpenAI, Google, and search engine, right? These three things it is going to return. I'm not going to use OpenAI as of now. I'm going to use only these two. So I'll try to parse it basically. So let's go and let's try to understand this plagiarism checker. Again, code looks overwhelming, but we are trying to write this code into a complete modular fashion by handling each and every kind of error. And yeah, so by logging each and everything, so that even in a later stage when you have to productionize this code, you should not face any kind of problem, or you should not even modify it. So here I'm just trying to call this function, and this is going to return me the complete dictionary with OpenAI, Google, and then search engine ID. So it is going to return me those keys, and I'm just trying to keep a check over here that if in that particular key, right, in that particular key, Google API key and search engine ID is not available, in that case, raise the exception. As simple as that. Raise this particular error. Now, otherwise, just try to process with the next thing. So here I'm trying to import a fuzzy wuzzy, which is going to help me out with the fuzzy match. And I'm just trying to get a text data. So whatever data which was available. So I'm just trying to get that particular text data. And then if not text is strip, so again, text cannot be empty. So if there is a empty data, so in that case, I can't do anything. Simply go ahead, don't do anything. Now, so if there is a data, which is available, so if there is a text which is available, so in that case, what I will do, so I'll just try to take a first 300 character, right? And wherever I have a new line, I'll just try to replace it with the complete blank, and then I'll try to call the strip, and this is going to be my data. Then I'm going to do a preparation for a search, a Google search basically. So this is basically a URL for a Google search, and this is the parameter that you have to pass. So query you have to pass means a data that you have prepared that you are supposed to pass, and then you have to pass your key, and then you have to pass your search engine ID. So these things you are going to pass. So our query is ready. Let's suppose our data is ready, and then this entire things is basically ready. Then what I will do is, so I will try to call this request.get, and then I'm going to pass the URL, this particular URL. I'm going to pass the parameter, this particular parameter, and then I will be looking for a response. So if response is good, it simply means that if I'm able to hit this particular URL, right? So if response is good, then it's fine. I'll proceed ahead. If response is not good, as you can see, if it is not 200 means a good response. So if it is not good, if it is not 200, in that case, raise again an exception that there is an error with the Google API. I'm not able to do a search basically. And the same thing we have already performed while we were trying to test our Google API. Okay, not an issue. So this is just a check over here, nothing much. Now here, so we are trying to get a response.json, which is going to give me a data, which is going to give me a data basically, and data.get item. So it is going to give me the result. Now here, so what I will do with this one, so I'm going to for item in a result. So just try to do a plagiarism result check. So plagiarism result check. And here, so UI, URL and similarity we are supposed to pass. So it is going to do a plagiarism result check. Let's get back to the code. Yeah. So plagiarism result check it is going to do, and then it is going to sort each and every result. So whatever plagiarism result that we are going to get, so sort it with the help of with similarity. And this is where this fuzzy wuzzy comes into a picture. So it is going to sort it. And then we are trying to keep a threshold that if threshold is greater than 0, then plagiarism result is going to be, so if it is greater than threshold, so if there is a 40% match or 30% match or 10% match, we are going to keep. So show me a result only for that and nothing else, as simple as that, right? So based on that, it is going to give me a plagiarism response. Fine. So this is all about the plagiarism function, right? So plagiarism function. Now let's go back and check a little bit over here. So here I'm going to click on grade, and then I'm going to maybe keep it, let's suppose a 10, grade the assignment, and let's see. So it is trying to check for the plagiarism. If there will be something in my assignment which is matching on a Google, so obviously it is going to tell me that it's grading. We have not discussed about the grade so far. We'll be discussing about it. Plus it is trying to generate the feedback, and voila. So here is something, its system has done its work. Now let's do one thing. So maybe we can go and we can try to check the result. Similarity match found. So there is nothing that we are able to find out in terms of a similarity. As you can see, it's completely blank. So it has done the plagiarism check, but yeah, not able to find out anything. So it is not giving me anything so far, but yeah, my function is completely working. So hope this piece of a code is fine, how we are trying to check the plagiarism. Now, what is the next step? So next step is to basically grade, and the next step is to basically give a feedback, generate a feedback. So fine guys, in the next section, so we are going to talk about basically a grading, and we are going to talk about basically a feedback generation. Okay, so welcome back to the lecture guys. So till last session, so we were able to understand that how we can try to parse a data, how we'll be able to read the API key from a client side, and then we have even discussed about a plagiarism check. Now it's time to talk about a grading, because that is the next step that we have to do, right? And here, so I'm going to use basically a OpenAI model for grading purposes. You can try to use any other model. You can try to consume any kind of a API key from any platform which is available out there. But this operation I'm going to show you with OpenAI key, you just have to change a little bit of functionalities and a key, and it is going to work with all other keys which is available in a market as well. Now here, so I'm just going to call OpenAI API, and we were able to read the data, and we have already created a OpenAI API key as well, and we have tested it in my last section, and we have a test code even along with us. So here, what we are going to do is, so we are going to call OpenAI library, OpenAI.OpenAI, and then we are going to pass the OpenAI key. Again, from a top, we are going to pass the OpenAI key. So once it will be done, so what we can do is, so we can try to create basically these things, this particular parameter. So client.chat.completion.create model is equals to model that we are going to pass. So model that we have already created as a class, then message, role, user and content, and then prompt we are going to provide that what is what you are supposed to do basically. So we are going to provide a prompt over here. So just like a prompt that we used to do while chatting with any kind of LLMs basically, and then maximum number of token 1024. You can try to increase or decrease a temperature, that's completely fine. So it is going to increase or decrease hallucination accordingly. Now here, so once your response is set, so call OpenAI API. So now this is going to give you a final OpenAI API at the end of the day. Fine, which I'm going to use it basically, right? So which I'm going to use it. So here I'm going to use a function called as grade a text. and I'm going to expose this function on this URL so that my client will be able to consume it. Now here, so text, so the data that we are going to get, this is a rubric, basically an instruction that I will be able to get. So if you remember, so we have a rubric, we have basically an instruction for grading any kind of assignment. So inside our Streamlit app itself, so from a client side, and then request model or ChatGPT, basically 3.5 turbo. So this is the model that I'm going to use, and then I'm going to get API key. It is going to return me this entire dictionary with the OpenAI, Google, and like a search ID. And I'm just going to use OpenAI key out of this one. That's it, right? So it is going to give me a key. I'm going to write a prompt for myself. So I'm going to say that you are an academic grader. Grade the following assignment based on the rubric, means based on the instruction which I have given to you. Respond with like only the grade. So I'm going to pass a rubric, by the way, right? A rubric which I'm going to get from a client side. And if you remember, this is a rubric. So this is basically a rubric that we are going to provide, and even on a client side, so we have given a different kind of a rubric. You can even try to pass your own custom rubric. That's completely fine. You can even try to like write a creative writing kind of a rubric, or maybe a technical report kind of a rubric, or default academic kind of a rubric, or you have an option to even pass a custom instruction to the prompt that, okay, so this is the rubric, and then based on that, try to evaluate my assignment. So this is a prompt which I have prepared. And data we already have, assignment we already have, rubric we already have. So I'm going to call a OpenAI API, the previous function I'm going to call, and then it is, right, I'm going to pass a prompt, I'm going to pass a key, and then I'm going to pass the model. So prompt will be given through this function, prompt will be given to this function, OpenAI key will be given to this function, and then model will be told to this particular function, and it is going to pass all of these information, just like you try to chat with the ChatGPT. So it is going to pass all the information, and then finally it is going to return what? Grade, because this is what you have mentioned, that respond with only the grade, right? Respond with only the grade. So it is going to give you the grade over here, as simple as that, right? It is going to give you return. So this is how easy it is, guys, in terms of like chatting with the OpenAI with the help of code. So this is going to give you the grade. Now there is another functionality that we have to implement. So I'm looking for even a feedback. So fine, grade I will be able to get, right? So grade I will be able to get. So here grade is equal to C grade. It is giving me. So based on the assignment which I have passed, and based on the rubric which I have given. So based on that, it is basically trying to like give me a C grade, right? For this particular document which I have passed over here. I'll just pass the random document. Now it's time to generate a feedback, that what is OpenAI feedback with respect to the assignment which I have submitted. Okay, so there is again another function, feedback function I have written, and I'm exposing it to this URL. So it is going to get a data first, it is going to get an instruction, and then it is going to use the OpenAI model. So simple, get API key, and then just try to write a prompt over here. I'm saying that you are a teacher, give a constructed feedback to the student based on this rubric and the assignment. So I'm just trying to ask for the constructive feedback, just like chatting to a ChatGPT. So giving a rubric, giving a data over here, and then it is going to return what? It is going to return basically a feedback. So one simple function, call OpenAI function, and this is going to give me each and everything. As simple as that. Okay, so this is going to give me the feedback. Now, so this is all about, guys, this is all about generating a feedback and my grade with the help of OpenAI. So hope all of you are able to understand. So our next part I'm going to discuss in our next lecture. Okay, now coming to the last part of the server.py file, guys. So here when we are going to do a tool calling, right? So we have a multiple tool over here. So we have basically a parse file, a check plagiarism, a grade text, and a generate a feedback. So these are the things that we have inside our server.py file, and we have already discussed about it. So here what I'm trying to do is, so in a custom way, so anyone can try to like pass a tool name over here, and then they will be able to invoke my different kind of tools which I have already created, or different kind of MCPs functions that I have created. So it will be able to invoke it. So generate feedback, so it is going to generate the feedback, or grade text, it is going to generate the text, check plagiarism, it will be able to generate each and everything at the end of the day. And this is nothing but again just endpoint that I'm trying to create. And then here is a logging, which I'm trying to do. And here I'm trying to set basically my entire FastAPI app. I'm trying to host on a local host basically, and then I'm trying to give a port number. So each and everything you will be able to test even through a client, or maybe even through a Streamlit app, or maybe you can try to maybe call it in a URL. You can try to pass a data, or maybe you can try to do a curl request, and you will be able to check it. So this is all about this server.py file. Now it's time to go back to my client.py file. So how this Streamlit app is trying to call this entire things, because we are trying to do a lot, right? Let me refresh once again. So we are trying to do a lot over here now. So I have modified a little bit of this client application. You will be able to see I have given a check server connection, and I have hard coded basically keys over here. So I was getting some error before recording, and I was my recording was getting delayed. So I have just hard coded, which I'm going to remove. I'm not going to remove. I'm just going to deactivate all of this APIs basically. So here, this is my client file, and I'm just trying to set my OpenAI key, Google API key, and Google CX. I'm trying to set over here on a client side of it. Okay. So once this will be set, right? Once this will be set, so then what we are trying to do is, so we will try to hit our server. So first of all, you have to make your server up and running, and then I'm going to basically hit our server, and then I'm going to pass OpenAI API key, Google API key, and a Google CX, a search engine ID basically, to my session, Streamlit session. So Streamlit.session state, and I'm going to pass all of these three sessions, so that Streamlit will be able to send this data to my server, the server that I'm going to where my MCPs are available basically. So here, this is a function call to the tools, or to the MCPs, you can say. So here there is a function called as call API tool. Now what this function is going to do, so basically this function is going to call a tool on an API server with the hard coded API key. I have clearly mentioned it. Like I said, I was getting some error, and I was running out of the time, so I've just hard coded it. Otherwise, it's not a good way to hard code it. Maybe you should keep it in a .env file, or maybe you can try to pass it from your client. Previously, you must have seen that we have created a placeholder, or we have created a input boxes for passing a API, right? But again, I'm not going to suggest that this is the correct approach, but yeah. So just because of the crunch of time, so I have done that. But yeah, in my upcoming project, I'll try to even do that particular part. So I'm going to keep it in a .env sometime. I'm going to even customize it where you will be able to pass through a UI itself. I'll be doing those things. So here, basically, it is going to take all the API key, which I have hard coded over here, and then basically it is going to do a login. That's it. Logging. Simple. Now, so here what we are trying to do, so basically we are trying to set different pages in this particular page. Okay, so let's finish this call API tool. So yeah, call API tool is nothing but basically it is just going to call the APIs. That's it. Apart from that, it is not going to do anything. And it is just going to check for the responses over here. Okay. Now, so we are trying to create our pages over here that we have already discussed in a tab number 1, in a tab number 2, in a tab number 3, in all those subsequent tabs. So we are trying to basically create these things. We are trying to check basically a server connection over here. So as you can see over here, so we are trying to click over here. It is going to return me that whether I'm connected to a server or not, or my server is up and running or not. So these are just a small features I have given inside my application. Now, so here we are going to basically testing the API key in this particular place. So here you can try to click, and then you can try to click on testing the API key. So API key test fail 404, detail not found. Okay, so we'll check, but yeah, this is just checking the API key. And then I'm trying to create a 3 tab, which I have already discussed in a beginning of this lecture itself, right? So in a very first tab, we are going to upload the assignment. So once we are going to upload the assignment, we are basically going to save that assignment into a temporary file path, and then we are going to basically process those entire things. How we are going to process it? So here we are going to process it with the help of call API tool over here. So we are saying that take this particular file and then try to call the API tool basically based on the requirement that I have. So as you can see that this API tool call, right, this API tool call, so I'm just trying to pass two things. One is a tool name, another one is a data. Yeah. And if you remember, so I had a multiple tool. I have basically parse file tool. I have a check plagiarism tool. I have a graded text tool. I have a generate feedback tool. So there are the four tools or four MCPs, you can say, a model context protocol I had. And what I can do is I can try to basically pass the tool name and it will be able to call each and everything one by one. So here from my very first tab, so I'm going to call what? Where is my tab number one? Yeah, this is my tab number one. And here, so I'm trying to call a API. I'm trying to say that, okay, so call this tool, parse file. It is going to return the result, right? It is going to return the result. So I'm just trying to handle it that if there is no result, then what you have to show, and if there is a result, elif, right? So if there is a result, so try to showcase a word count, that how many data, like what is the word count that was available, plus show me a data as well. So I'm just trying to call a Streamlit.expander, and then I'm trying to show the entire data set. So basically I'm talking about this, that try to pass a file over here, Now, if I'm going to click on process document, right? If I'm going to click on process the document, simply means that if I'm going to call basically this button called as process document button, right? In line number 170. So if I'm going to click on this process button, so what it will do, it will start processing it. So runner, basically we have a runner over here, right? So spinner, basically we have over here. So it will start spinning it. It is going to call what? API tool. And which tool it is going to call? Parse file tool, the tool that we have already written on our server side. So it is basically going to call my server, and then, so once it will be able to call the server, document process successfully, it is telling me. So, okay, document process successfully, it is going to tell me, plus it is going to return me the length, the word count, that how many data set was there. So document content 2,821 words. And then I'm going to call on this expander, and it is going to show me even a preview of the data. And now this is coming from where? So this is coming from here. So I'm just trying to give you a document preview, right? If document is very long, show the warning. So if document word count is more than 5,000 over here, you can try to change this number. That's completely fine. Then maybe you can try to showcase the warning over here. That's completely fine. So this is one of the things. Now coming to the tab number 2. Now what we are doing in tab number 2 basically. So in tab number 2, so we have to do a grading. So we are able to load this document. That's completely fine. Now we can try to select all of these parameters. So we have to select the rules basically. So rubric over here. So default academic, or by default I'm using an academic, or else I can write maybe a technical, or I can write even a custom over here. So I can select this one. I can try to uncheck for the plagiarism check, and then for a plagiarism check. So I can try to even give a similarity. So if matching 100%, or if matching like a 12%, minimum is 10, which I have given. And then based on that, try to grade the assignment, right? And then for grading, so which model I'm going to select. So maybe by default 3.5 turbo I'm going to select. So here it is there is a rubric template, as you can see, right? There is a rubric template that is given over here. Default academic, technical report, and a creative writing. So these are the rubric template which is given over here, or else you can try to pass even a custom. So this is what has been created. And then we are going to basically get a rubric template over here, and then what we are going to do is, so we are going to basically do a plagiarism check in this particular place. And we are going to basically evaluate a complete grading, right? So here minimum value is equal to 10. Maybe if I want, I can try to make it 1. That's completely fine. It is going to perform a similarity check based on that. By default value is going to be 40 for my plagiarism check that I'm going to do. And all of these things. Then coming to the final execution part over here, guys. So basically what it will do. Yeah, this one. So call API tool. So here, when doing a plagiarism check, so which tool it is going to call? Check plagiarism tool, the tool that we have already created, the check plagiarism tool that we have already created. So it is going to basically call that one. So it is going to call basically this one, as you can see. Yeah, it is going to call basically this one automatically. Okay. So it is going to call this plagiarism, and then it is going to give you a plagiarism result. And obviously I'm trying to showcase a progress bar as well. Now, same thing, it will try to go for the grading. So it is going to call the tool. So as you can see that I'm not doing much over here. I'm just trying to call a tool that I have already created one by one, one by one, one by one based on my like a requirement. So here I'm trying to call a tool for grading a text, and then I will be calling a tool for giving a feedback. So generate a feedback. All this tool I have already created on my server side. So it is going to generate a grades. It is going to check a plagiarism. It is going to even give a feedback. So now if I'm going to like run this entire things after a refresh, so same file I'm going to process the document. So yeah, it is going to process the document. It is previewing each and everything. Then it is, let me check the grade and then plagiarism. So checking for a plagiarism, fine, it's done. It's very, very quick. My data size is very small, so it's quick basically. Then it's generating a grade and then like a balloon. So everything is like done over here. So all these three tasks it is able to perform. Maybe I can go over here and then I can check the results. So there is no similarity which was found. My data is completely unique. My grade is C. I'm performing very like bad. I'm worse basically. And then it is giving me a feedback. So overall your assignment demonstrated creativity and good understanding of the topic of prompting Euron Plus as a learning platform. You use a various style and tone, shows versatility and communication. However, there is some area of improvement based on the rubric provided. So based on the instruction provided, so content is 30-40 while you post are creative and engaging. Some of them lack the through analysis and benefit of the Euron Plus. Try to incorporate more critical analysis and evidence. Okay, so analysis, it is able to give a grammatical style analysis, and overall great job on the assignment. Keep the creativity and work on incorporating more critical analysis and evidence for a future post. Well done. Okay, so entire things is done. These are the two buttons I have given. I have not attached any functionality so far, but yeah, these are just a two button which I have given. So tab number 3, it is going to show you all the result. As simple as that. So whatever result that we have given, and how it is trying to decide basically a grade. So we have given based on the values which my chat GPT is going to return, which my GPT is going to return. So based on that, it is going to give me a grade. So this is the grade table we have already created over here. As simple as that. Okay, so result it is going to show you, and then end of the deal. So footer, and there is a markdown which is available. So now this is all about a client side and a server side, guys, plus all the other files we have already discussed so far, which is available inside our project. So hope all of you are able to understand the complete server, how we are trying to create a tool over here, MCPs over here, how my client is able to access it. Now, in a next step, we are going to basically execute this one. So fine, let's see the execution. Okay, so now it's time to see an execution in our local system, guys. So what I can do is maybe we can try to open up our terminal, and whatever is running in my system, so I can try to stop it. I can just try to clear it. So Streamlit, and I believe it's up and running. So I'm going to terminate it. I'm going to basically clear it. Okay, my server is up and running. So I'm going to close it, and I'm going to perform a CLS operation. Fine. Now, so to execute and to test this entire things, what you have to do is you have to run a server first, a backend first, right? So where you have your MCPs and you have like OpenAI and Google API, and then like a Google CX basically a search ID which is available, which is not available basically, which which it's trying to use it. So here what I can do is I can write basically Python and server.py file, and you just have to execute. And if you are able to see this, it simply means that your server is up and running, your backend system is up and running completely. Now, what is the next thing? So next step is you have to run your client basically. Client means your Streamlit app you have to run, so that you will be able to interact, and then you will be able to check the like a entire process, whatever you have created. So here I'm going to write like a Python, and then I'm going to write client.py, and this warning can be ignored. Okay, it says that it is still running. I don't think that it's running. Let me close it. It's giving me a warning. The main thread missing a scripture. This warning can be ignored. Oh, sorry. I'm running a Streamlit app, right? So my bad, guys. I think, yeah, happens sometimes. So I'm running a Streamlit app, right? It should not be simple Python. It should be basically Streamlit. How I can do that? So Streamlit run, and then basically Client.py file I'm going to write. Now Streamlit is going to run, and now you will be able to see it. Yeah. So now this entire things is up and running. I can check server connection. I can check like server status over here. Server status looks good. Assignment greater API version like whatever I have given. And then I can try to upload my file and it will try to process the document. So everything seems to be like a good up and running. Document preview. So yeah, I'm able to do a document preview over here. And grade wise, so maybe this time technical report or maybe creative writing. Similarity check. Okay, grade assignment and grading in progress. Okay, so checking for plagiarism. I think it's done. Graded assignment, and it is able to generate the feedback. Okay, so this is done. Now what we are supposed to do is we can go and check the results. So this time grade B plus it has given me. No plagiarism it is supposed to find out. Maybe I'll have to check the logic if it is correct. And then this is the feedback it has given to me based on the rubrics, right, that I have given. So entire app is up and running inside my system, and hope all of you are going to execute it. And even in your system, it will be up and running. With that, guys, thank you so much, and see you in our next lecture.